Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chev Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naitiki. So, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 16th chapter, how Parikshit received the age of Kali, text number 21 onwards. So, bull, dharma in the form of bull, is asking mother cow. Arakshmana striyaurvi balan shochasyatho purushadairi vartan vacham devim brahmkule kukarmani brahmanye rajkule kulagriyana. Are you feeling compunction for the unhappy women and children who are left forlorn by unscrupulous persons? Or are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by Brahmins addicted to acts against the principles of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the Brahmins have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahmanical culture? So he is asking that why is she unhappy? Because so many symptoms of Kali Yuga started to appear. In this age of Kali, the women and the children, along with Brahmins and cows, will be grossly neglected and left unprotected. In this age, illicit connection with women will render many women and children uncared for. Circumstantially, the women will try to become independent of the protection of men, and marriage will be performed as a matter of formal agreement between man and woman. In most cases, the children will not be taken care of properly. The Brahmins are traditionally intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. But as far as moral and religious principles are concerned, they shall be the most fallen. Education and bad character go ill together, but such things will run parallel in Kali Yuga, especially in Kali Yuga. The administrative heads as a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom and will prefer to conduct a so called secular state. And the so called educated Brahmins will be purchased by such unscrupulous administrators. Even a philosopher and writer of many books on religious principles may also accept an exalted post in a government which denies all the moral codes of the Shastras. The Brahmins are specifically restricted from accepting such service, but in this age, they will not only accept service, but they will do so even if it is of the meanest quality. These are some of the symptoms of the Kali age which are harmful to the general welfare of human society. So, so Dharma or Bull is asking Mother Earth, why are you sad because of this? Are you sad because of that? And then Prabhupada enlists some of the qualities of Kali Yuga, especially Brahmins who are supposed to be intelligent men, traditionally intelligent, and they'll take up some low class job of teaching or educating the administrative heads who will not care for the Vedic wisdom, who will not care for Vedic culture, and they'll just give some money to the Brahmins, and Brahmins will be just like their servants. Actually, Brahmins are not supposed to be like that, but this is Kali Yuga. How will they survive? So they take up these kind of positions. Kim Kshatra Bandhun Kalinopsrishtan Rashtrani Vatairavaro Pitani Tastato Vashan Panavasaha Snan Vyavayon Mukhajiva Lokam. The so-called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of this age of Kali, and thus they have put all state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting this disorder? Now, the general populace does not follow the rules and regulations for eating, sleeping, drinking, mating, etc., and they are inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere. Are you unhappy because of this? So, even early days, like the shloka says, the general population, they do not follow the rules and regulations for eating and sleeping and drinking and mating. Means even eating was supposed to be very regulated. But now, this day and age, everybody has forgotten how to do the proper eating also. And that is why one place Prabhupada said, that is why in age of Kali, we are all short-lived. Our life duration is getting reduced because we don't follow the proper eating habits. And now with so many people working in overnight jobs, so forget about eating, sleeping, drinking, all these kind of habits. Everything is gone topsy-turvy now. There are some necessities of life on a par with those of the lower animals, and they are eating, sleeping, faring, and mating. These bodily demands are for both the human beings and the animals. But the human being has to fulfill such desires, not like animals, but like a human being. A dog can mate with a bitch before the public eyes without hesitation. But if a human being does so, the act will be considered a public nuisance and the person will be criminally prosecuted. But even that is allowed these days. Nobody is going to bother to prosecute human beings if they're engaging in sensual activities publicly. Therefore, for the human being, there are some rules and regulations, even for fulfilling common demands. The human society avoids such rules and regulations when it is bewildered by the influence of the age of Kali. In this age, people are indulging in such necessities of life without following the rules and regulations. And this deterioration of social and moral rules is certainly lamentable because of the harmful effects of such beastly behavior. In this age, the fathers and the guardians are not happy with the behavior of their wards. They should know that so many innocent children are victims of bad association avoided by the influence of this age of Kali. We know from Srimad Bhagavatam that Ajamil, an innocent Brahman, innocent son of a Brahman, was walking down a road and saw a Shudra pair sexually embracing. This attracted the boy, and later on, the boy became a victim of all debaucheries. From a pure Brahman, he fell down to the position of a wretched urchin, and it was all due to bad association. There was but one victim like Ajamil in those days. But in this age of Kali, the poor innocent students are daily victims of cinemas which attract men only for sex indulgence. The so called administrators are all untrained in the affairs of a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are meant for administration, as the Brahmins are meant for knowledge and guidance. The word Kshatra Bandhu refers to the so called administrators or persons promoted to the post of the administrator without proper training by culture and tradition. Nowadays, they are promoted to such exalted posts by the votes of the people who are themselves fallen in the rules and regulations of life. How can such people select a proper man when they are themselves fallen in the standard of life? Therefore, by the influence of the age of Kali, everywhere, politically, socially, or religiously, everything is topsy turvy. And therefore, for the sane man, it is all regrettable. So Prabhupada is again talking, he goes in so much of detail about the symptoms of Kali Yuga and what is happening. The all the four propensities of life, which animals can do anything anywhere, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But the human beings should have some rules and regulations. But even those rules are gone now. It hardly matters. And why? Because the administrators, they are not real Kshatriyas and they're not properly trained in culture or tradition. So that's why everything is gone upside down. That's why, if you know of this person, what's his name, Shiv Kheda, I've read some of his quotations. So once behind an auto, it was written from Shiv Kheda that you won't even leave your baby with these people. I mean, you won't even accept them to be guardians of your baby, and you vote them to be the guardians of the whole country. Means he was referring to the politicians these days. He's saying like you won't even leave your baby with these people. They're so bad. But you leave the whole country with these people for them to rule over. But anyway, we think that what's a better choice? I mean, it's a lesser of the two evil that we're gonna elect, and this is what ends up happening. But that's why once Prabhupada did say that. I mean, he wants his devotees to become politicians, and they should rule. They should become administrators. They should become prime minister and presidents of countries, because they will be the right rulers. But this line has become so bad. I mean, this profession of politicians, that no sane person wants to go there even. They don't even want to talk about it. Text 23. Yadvam te bhuri bharavatara kritaavatarasya harer dharitri antarhitasya smrati visrishta karmani nirvana vilambitani. O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, incarnated himself as Lord Shri Krishna just to unload your heavy burden. All his activities here are transcendental and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. You are probably now thinking of those activities and feeling sorry in their absence. The activities of the Lord include liberation, but they are more relishable than the pleasure derived from nirvana or liberation. So the activities of the Lord are more relishable than one can derive the pleasure of liberation. More relishable. According to Srila Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the word used here is nirvana vidambitani, that which minimizes the value of liberation. So this is the potency of Krishna's beauty, of Krishna's sweetness of Krishna's pastimes, that it even makes liberation lose its value, minimizes the value of liberation, because liberation, what is normally understood by liberation is merging in Brahm Jyoti. And merging in Brahm Jyoti has no comparison to the sweetness one tastes when he is with Krishna in Golok Vrindavan and just relishing those pastimes. To attain nirvana, liberation, one has to undergo a severe type of tapasya, austerity. But the Lord is so merciful that he incarnates, diminishes the burden of the earth. Simply by remembering such activities, one can defy the pleasure derived from nirvana and reach the transcendental abode of the Lord to associate with him, eternally engaged in his blissful, loving service. In fact, it is said that liberation or mukti stands at the door of a devotee with folded hands, asking mukti and bhukti also. Bhakti means sense enjoyment, material enjoyment. They both stand at the door of a devotee with folded hands, begging him to engage them in his service. But a devotee, he doesn't even look at them. Forget about caring for them. Means he doesn't even care for liberation or material prosperity. Only thing he cares for, only thing he wants is bhakti. That's all he wants. And liberation, just like Haridas Thakur says at one place, that chanting of the holy names, even at the stage of Nam Abhas, like a glimpse of the holy name only one gets, that means that he's already liberated. So he said liberation is not a big deal for devotees. By even just chanting at the stage of Nam Abhas, he gets liberated. It's his aspiration is to come to the stage of pure chanting with Krishna's love and devotion. That is the real chanting. But liberation, he said, even at the stage Namavas one can get. So that's how powerful this chanting of the holy names is. Text 24. Idam mama chakshva tavadhimulam vasundhare yen vikarshitasi kalen vatale balinam baliyasa surarchitam kim hritmam sobhagam. Mother, you're the reservoir of all riches. Please inform me of the root cause of your tribulations by which you have been reduced to such a weak state. I think that the powerful influence of time, which conquers the most powerful, might have forcibly taken away all your fortune, which was adored even by the demigods. By the grace of the Lord, each and every planet is created fully equipped. So not only is this earth fully equipped with all the riches for the maintenance of its inhabitants, but also when the Lord descends on the earth, the whole earth becomes so enriched with all kinds of opulences that even the denizens of heaven worship it with all affection. But by the will of the Lord, the whole world can at once be changed. He can do and undo a thing by his sweet will. Therefore, no one should consider himself to be self-sufficient or independent of the Lord. So we are always dependent on the Lord, and like Prabhupada is saying, he can change the situation here, even on earth, at any moment. By the will of the Lord, the whole earth can at once be changed. So if we think that by my cultivating the field, some crops are growing, that's nonsense. It's only by mercy of Krishna, crops are growing. And if Krishna wants to stop, he can do that easily. Text 25. Dharani uvacha bhavan hi veda tat sarvam yanmam dharmanu prichasi chaturbhir vatase yena padar lok sukha. The earth deity in the form of a cow thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull. O Dharma, whatever you have inquired from me shall be unknown to you. I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you too were maintained by your 4 legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord. The principles of religion are laid down by the Lord himself, and the executor of such laws is Dharmaraj or Yamraj. Such principles work fully in the age of Satyuga. In the Treta Yuga, they reduced by a fraction of 1/4. In the Dwapar Yuga, they reduced to 1/2, and in Kali Yuga, they reduced to 1/4 or 1/4, gradually diminishing to the 0 point, and then devastation takes place. So gradually, all these principles of religion, they will come to zero, come to naught. Happiness in the world depends proportionately on the maintenance of the religious principles, individually or collectively. The best part of valor is to maintain the principles despite all kinds of odds. Thus, one can be happy during the span of life and ultimately return to Godhead. So these principles, like we discussed yesterday, all these 4 principles that we follow: no meat eating, no drinking, no gambling, no illicit relationships. So these are the four pillars of dharma. These are the four principles that are getting reduced every day, especially in this age of Kali Yuga. So people have no inclination to follow this. In fact, there's a wonderful incident. Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj, he had sent some of his sannyasi disciples to London to preach. And in fact, you would be surprised, at that time, it was maybe early 1900s, he sent his disciples to London when India was still under British rule, and he used to send money from India to them for them to stay there and preach. That's how powerful Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was. And these disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, I think they were sannyasis, they went and met one, I'm forgetting his name, some Lord something he was. Because in London or in Britain, there's a tradition to give this title Lord to some prominent person. So this Lord, he was speaking with them and he was kind of influenced, or he kind of liked the philosophy, Western philosophy. So he asked these devotees, can you make me a Brahman? Because according to Karmakanda principles, one who is not born in Varnashram system, he cannot become a Brahman. Means one who is born as a Malecha or Yavan or Chandal, then he cannot become a Brahman, at least not in this lifetime. So these two devotees, because they were Vaishnavas, they said, yes, we can make you Brahman, provided you have to follow these four principles. No meat eating, no drinking, no gambling, no illicit sex. And it is, Prabhupada used to very fondly say that Lord, so whatever he was, he just said, I cannot do it. He simply refused. He said, I can't do it. So to break these principles is everyday's job for mostly people who are in Kali Yuga. It's everyday thing. And that's why Prabhupada is writing, happiness in the world depends proportionally on the maintenance of the religious principles, individually or collectively. The best part of valor is to maintain the principle despite all types of odds. So thus one can be happy during the span of life and ultimately return to Godhead. So one can only be happy if he's following these principles, and one gets purified quickly, and then he can return back home, back to Godhead. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. So I guess everybody is really engaged in observing Ekadashi, so no questions today. So, well, we can stop here. You all enjoy your Ekadashi. Please chant more rounds, whatever you can. Jai Shila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.